welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Alrighty, here we go. Hello, welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy Wednesday. Getting through another crazy week here.
Man, I hope Denny's didn't catch that on camera.
What was
I
it?
just fucked my headphones so bad.
Did you snap them?
You broke them.
I didn't break them, but it was right as he usually goes to our face when it's
Oh, yeah.
our name in the song. I
Right.
heard my name and I'm grabbing my headphones.
Snap.
What's that? That looks broken.
I think it is kind of broken.
Are those new headphones?
They are.
Not anymore.
How long have you had those?
10 minutes.
It'll take me. I can fix these. I can fix them.
Okay,
But
so you're not going to
Just
write
like
those
the
off?
lazy boy.
I just didn't look cool.
Yeah, what was your kill count last year? It was impressive. How many pairs of headphones did you go through?
I can't even remember, but somebody has the stats out there.
Yeah, was it more or less than 10, Denny's? Do you remember? It's right about there, right? You guys
Yeah.
went through about a pair a month?
Because somebody bought us a large quantity of them in bulk, and we're almost through
Yeah, I think he snapped his way through most
all
of
of them.
Yeah, I think people saw it. Oh, well.
It's on brand.
them. Yeah.
Oh, well.
What are you going to do? Have working headphones and not break stuff? Who are you?
Well, no, but you have to go back and look at it. It was the uncoolest thing to look at.
How's that fixed job going?
All right, get off my ass. Good gosh. It's going terrible. I'm about to
Enjoying watching him try to repair something over
He's like,
there.
no, they're not broken, and he's over there trying to
Well,
fix
it's
them.
interesting because you watch it and you're slowly seeing it become more broken.
They are so broken, Kevin.
not. Gosh, you're so dramatic. But I may have to do it after the show.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're fine.
When God gave you 10 thumbs, it is hard to fix stuff.
Yeah, you don't really need it for this podcast we do here, Bird.
Right, fuck it.
You're fine.
Well, you know what? We'll all take ours off in
No,
solidarity.
you don't have to do that.
Even Kevin.
Look at you.
I'd
Don't
rather
tell
have
me
you
how to live
turn,
my life.
you turn your mic off instead.
Never.
Well, right at the tail end of the regular show, we were talking about fun towns in Florida. Taintsville is the fun one that we have. It's by, I think it's Ocoee, that area, and the town is kind of between Ocoee and another town.
Where the hell's Ocoee?
That's outside of Orlando.
Oh.
Or maybe it's Oviedo is the name of the town.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So it's-
Taintsville sounds fun, though. I do want to go.
Yeah, you've got a lot of small little towns up around there. And we were kind of going through all the fun little towns that are in America. And people have sent us like one text Carol had said, yeah, there's Big Bone Lick, Kentucky.
Bone lick.
That's fun. There's also a Big Lick, Arkansas, Mickey had said. Missed that. We heard about several states have coming in it, including Georgia. And Scott said, actually, a little fun fact, it takes 4.5 hours to go from Cumming to Climax, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
4 hours. Yeah, if you're planning out a road trip there, just to let you know. But the favorite by far was, now I can say it right, Sugar Tit, South Carolina.
Woohoo!
Maybe
Sugar Tit!
Yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of interesting to hear about. Doug actually did a little bit of research on it. And yeah, it came from a quip of the local wives that would talk. One person had texted in and said that when their husband was at the general store, they would say to the other wives, oh, where's your husband? And be like, he's at that general store. He's like that. He's on that general store like a baby is on a sugar tit. And I think that actually meant something because in that area, you had a lot of Scots and Irish that were around there in Spartanburg County, which makes sense. A lot of my family lives there, and they're Scottish. So I guess that's kind of just one place where the Scots went. And while the ladies were out working in the field, a lot of times they would have babies in the fields, and they would have their blankets. And they would put sugar cane in the blanket, dip it in water, and that would help them keep those babies in the field while the mom would work. And they called it a sugar tit. It's kind of like the first pacifier.
Wow.
So the babies would suck on the old sugar tit, as they would call it. And then the town just kind of got its name because there was so much field work that was
But
going
the
on there.
sugar tit was a blanket, not a tit.
Yeah, I guess in a sense. It was kind of a
Okay.
code word for, it's just give the old sugar tit. And that'd be kind of what it is.
Get the.
All right, Kevin, I'll whip her out.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not your flesh. It's the blanket. It's your sugar tit.
But at some point, it did turn into sugar tit.
The point where it turned fun.
And now they make sugar tit moonshine. That's one of the big things here. And, of course, everybody loves the name of it, but
We
it just
gotta
works
get
out
it.
really well.
We got to go get some. We got to get the T-shirt. We got to get the hat. We got to get all of it.
It's pretty crazy. I've met a few people who really are rubbed the wrong way with the word tit or titty or tits.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's one of the funnier words out there.
Titty. That's a fun word.
Tits. I mean, that's funny.
Yeah.
Remember that meeting we had to go into?
It was one of
Yeah.
It was one of the first meetings I ever had to go into where it was a discipline type of meeting, and our boss called us in, but he called all three of us in.
It wasn't your fault.
No, you're the one that said it, and you said titty, and he's explaining it to us why it's wrong, why it's vulgar. Does a 35-year-old woman really want to hear the word titty? And then he played the audio. And how are you not gonna fucking laugh at that point?
Titty.
Yeah.
Yes, he's telling us not to laugh, and then I'm pissing myself laughing right in his face.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of it. So.
Is that an FCC word that's wrong?
I don't know. We've got a few that are, kind of I could,
Gray area.
Yeah, I could probably get away with it. And you usually how that works is, you've got to say something that is so egregious to the community standards of what they would find offensive. So I probably am okay, but it's one of those things where, you don't need to risk it. Well, it's kind of like I even said, Titas, which I don't know where that ranks. I mean, I knew that going all the way back to when I was in high school because I went on spring break and we had a guy from Spain that was with us, and I remember we put up a sign in our room that said "Show us your titas" because he was Spanish. And we're like, "What are titas?" He's like, "Oh, that's a titi." And I was like,
Okay.
okay, all right." But
Let's see 'em.
They had a Texas Rangers hat. And they took the X out of Texas and put a T in it, and they're like, and then people caught on and be like, no, that says the Titty Rangers.
They're available for
It
sale.
was an MLB caught on. They yanked them off the market, apparently.
Boo.
That's what the story
But you
said.
can get some. You can get them.
Yeah,
Not from MLB.
right. So that
You can
was
get them
part
like
of
on the
it.
black market.
Yes.
Yep. Andrew said, hey, I was catching up on the podcast and I just heard the discussion on the emojis that were coming out with the latest iOS update. I am the one who created and submitted the Bigfoot emoji back in 2021, and I can finally say that either later this year or early next year, we will have a Bigfoot emoji.
Wow.
Now listen to this. This is a really exciting proclamation to make here. It says, I am a local graphic designer. I do logos, websites, and apps in case anybody ever needs it. And I'm a longtime listener. And you guys were the inspiration for this emoji way back in 2019.
Wow.
When we were talking about it. And so I got on the case. And let me tell you, creating new emojis is not easy. It's essentially like adding a new letter to a modern tech-based alphabet. Unicode, the group that collects and reviews submissions, goes through several internet or internal meetings where they vet the concepts, data, and they figure out which symbols would carry the most impact to the global community. And for my submission for the Bigfoot emoji, not only did I have to design the emoji, but I also had to write a research paper and submit stats and analytics on how frequent Bigfoot is searched in Google, as well as discuss its presence across the world, speaking about the same creature going by many different names and different cultures, and its appearance in pop culture. And thankfully, after 4+ years, we are now at the finish line. It got renamed Hairy Creature for said worldwide use. And as a graphic designer, this is a huge bucket list item for me. To have a design that will be on every person's phone and computer and to be used so broadly is such an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
When the official release comes later this year or next, I'd love to come on and dedicate this as a true KVJ Emoji, which is what it really is.
And we've met them a few times as a whole family. They are a really awesome, nice family.
That is so
I'm
cool.
very
So when
happy
you
for
see the
them.
Bigfoot emoji, be like, oh, KVJ needs to know about it. Well, you have that emoji because of KVJ and because of Andrew.
Dang, that's cool.
I'm
the
pretty
work he
sure
put in.
they got. I think their son's named Senate. Because weren't you going to name your son Senate at one point?
Yeah, I had talked about it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
their
one of the
son's
final
Senate.
options. Okay.
I wonder how much money you get paid for creating the Bigfoot hairy creature emoji.
He didn't say anything about money, and I wonder if you get paid at all. Maybe you don't.
Oh, you should.
You should, but it sounds like he's doing it for the love. But I agree,
Yeah.
some compensation.
Pay that
would-
man.
Doing
Yeah.
it for the love of the game. And he said, by the way, Jaybird, thank you. I do have kind eyes. Thanks for the compliment.
Aw. Were you hitting on him?
That's pretty cool, though, to know when you see the Bigfoot emoji when it comes out on your phone that it came from a KVJ Nationer and it was inspired by the KVJ show, as it should be.
That's credibility.
That's a win for us as well.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Engineer Keith kind of educating us on something we were talking about where they did a little bit of study with some AI bots, and they realized as they fed them some bad news or political news or whatever, that the bots were getting anxiety or showing stress or signs of it. And he said, just to clarify all this and what you were reading, the bots are not alive. They're trained on a bunch of human tech. So any bias present in the data will be presented in the bot or the chat bot. They also have what's called a context window. People who make the bots find that they behave better if they have context about the ongoing conversation. So if you're mean to a bot, it's not responding psychologically, it's responding as human-generated text tends to respond to mean comments. But that being said, there is something to be worried about. These bots can now deceive us on purpose. At least some of them can. Basically, the moral of the story that I found, just be nice to AI. You guys also mentioned that AI will replace human-led tasks. Well, I'm working on just that. I'm trying to teach it how to think that I would solve the problem. It's not easy to do, but I'm getting there. And I'm trying to ride this wave of AI instead of being drowned by it.
See, he goes, just be nice to the AI. And just showing you people are going to have emotional connections with their AI robots.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and they realize that this is going to change probably the way in the future of how we interact and how much we interact with other humans, and then also relationships as well. In fact, they've got some stats out now on it. 25% of Gen Zers, people in their late teens and 20s, say they are comfortable with their partner being intimate with a sex robot modeled after them.
Yeah, just a new version of a vibrator. Bigger, stronger, faster, quicker.
A whole entire Jaybird robot sex toy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Honeyface would get down with that thing.
I don't know.
Just, who knows?
How would you feel if you came home and Honeyface was getting drilled by the AI Jaybird sex robot?
And he was really giving it to her. Better than you can with that bum
That'd be the
hip.
first thing. You'd be like, okay, wait, is that robot better in the sack than I am?
His hip works great.
If it is, if it is, it is. She knows
No
I'm gonna
jealousy?
She knows I'm going to go full gorilla, and if it just doesn't cut the mustard.
If the real human Jaybird can't do it, then you know what? Have your way with Robot Bird.
What are you going to do? I mean,
Robot Bird can do all kind of tricks.
Yeah.
He's limber.
Yeah.
you're right. No, AI Jaybird fucks good.
Yeah. 40% of Gen Z would view even having sex with a robot modeled after them as infidelity. And they say that women are 23% more likely than men to perceive it as cheating. So men have a more open mind to
it's not-
sex robots than the ladies do.
It's not infidelity. It's just weird.
Here's the thing: what's going to happen, and I know I sound like a broken record. It's people
emotional
going.
cheating
They're
in a
going to
sense?
get emotionally attached to these things, where they're going to like the robot that looks now like a human and acts like a human, and now your husband or your wife wants to spend all of its time with the robot, not you anymore. You've aged out of their life because the robot is trying to be so awesome at whether talking or walking or whatever you want to program it to be. People are going to get emotionally attached to this. It just is. It's going to change the way things are.
I've aged out of Earth.
Yeah, unless, there becomes laws about it, but I don't know if there is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to where robots are taking. I mean, it's really essentially robots taking over for humans.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, does the law get involved and say, or the government get involved and say, we don't want that because we want to try to keep our species.
Right.
But how much can the robots really take over is the question.
Yeah.
Is it more just all media hype? And is it all just a scare tactic? Or is there a chance that we could become an obsolete society?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody conclusively has the answers to that. We're just kind of trudging on through it and pursuing and seeing where we wind up. And
But bottom line is this, we know AI Jaybird can fuck good.
Oh, AI Jaybird brings it home.
Would you be weirded if you came home and the queen?
yes.
The Queen was getting drilled by AI Jaybird.
No! Stop making everything so fucking weird. Good God.
Yeah.
There's no AI Kev.
AI, yes, there is.
No, there's not. Not for this game.
Well, you're ruining the game.
What if the queen comes home and I'm getting drilled by AI Jaybird?
Oh, now that's just sexy.
I could still work with you.
I think I want to video this.
Yeah, that I could see being a relationship ender. Yeah. When we're talking about the stats, yeah, that might do it.
You might not be able to do a show after.
That might do it. Yeah,
You'd be like, I just like the way AI Jaybird touches me.
that could be the. I think the queen's very forgiving. I can't see us ever splitting up, but that might do it.
If she walked in and you were getting drilled by AI Jaybird.
Really enjoying it.
Your eyes are rolling back in your
And I'm
head.
going, oh yeah, Bigfoot.
You don't even notice the Queen. She's just standing in the doorway watching you for like a minute and a half.
Here's where your birdie is at, bitch.
Yeah.
All right, we've gone too far.
Kakwa!
Yeah.
Kevin's just kakwaing. Loves it.
That'd be something, huh? That would be something. Got an email here from Jennifer. She said, been a fan for over 20 years. You make me smile every day. However, on the way home from work for the first time ever, I heard a political ad and I missed my turn to go home. Complete shock. I've never heard anything political and in the place we are now, and I think it's in bad taste. I know it's not you, KVJD, but is there a resource I can go to off the record to express my opinion? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could get a hold of our management and we could let you know because, we've told you that the way the regular show goes is they're very nice with us when it comes to the content. And basically the agreement that we have with management is like, all right, you guys, the parameters of what you need to do with the content, and we fully trust you guys to do it. And what they control is the music and the commercials. Now, I can kind of choose about where songs are played a little bit here and there, but I don't really exercise a lot of control over that and just kind of go with the music that is right there in front of me every single day. But yeah, the commercials is something that we have nothing to do with other than just arranging the order. But if it's there, then you play it. And that's kind of, how it goes and the arrangement that we have.
It's
So,
kind of like a political ad during political season. You would have heard commercials from the Republican campaign, from the Democratic campaign. Like everybody's allowed, especially government, to buy commercials.
yeah. So I will go to them today to say, because I know they have work emails and I don't want to crush their work email or something that they use, but I will find out if you would like to take your time and write an email about that commercial that is running to let them know. We will step out of the way and let you voice your concerns and your feelings about it, and then we'll let them make the decision. But yeah, I let people know in the chat that that's not something that's above our pay grade, as they say. That's not something that we control. It's not our choice. We don't be like, yes, please play that and play it more often.
I didn't see anybody talk about it in the chat today.
Nope. Okay, good.
Just kidding.
Are they mad?
There's a lot of people that don't like it. They find that it's a little intimidating, and they're not a huge fan of it. And
We didn't do it. I can
Yeah.
promise you that. We don't have anything to do with those.
we do like your feedback, though, so I will find a good address for you to send those comments, and you guys can then voice your opinions, and we'll see where they land on that. I don't even know what the thought process is and what goes into making that kind of decision for that. I assume it's
That might be a national buy.
I don't even know. Yeah.
That might be a nationally bought commercial that's not just airing here, but on many other radio stations. It did sound like a nationally produced situation.
So we'd say, well, what if you just deleted it, Kevin? What would happen?
It would show up, that I had, and then we'd have to pay them back for the the money on it. And then
you
I
can't
would,
do
and
that.
then you would get a
I would
shit
get
ton of
comments.
trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably come to me, about how far they want to go in, and to me, I think our arrangement works well because there's a mutual respect. Because if I then start interjecting myself passionately into those comments, then they might start interjecting themselves passionately into the content.
And then we have chaos.
And then you might be like, yeah, we really want to do this great bit about Sugar Tits, South Carolina, but management said, yeah, not even spelling out the word tits is going to be acceptable on the show anymore. So then, here we go, where we're all kind of crossing that, that boundary.
I don't want to be in a world where we can't have fun with sugar tits.
Yeah.
I mean, the AI porking of Jaybird, that can't happen. That'll be gone.
Yeah, they may be like, yeah, we don't want you to talk about getting railed by AI sex robots.
AI Jaybird wasn't getting porked. He was giving the pork.
That's right, Kevin.
He was working Kevin over like a drum.
I forgot about that. I forgot about the scenario.
And keep in mind, too, because some people are commenting as well that, the world is not necessarily all about you. Don't forget that whatever side you're on in this, basically 50% are on the other side.
That is true.
So, that's kind of it when we start, getting all these things kind of off the map as it is right now. There are people that are standing up being like, I love it and I agree with it.
It's a political ad.
Yeah, and it's what's going to happen.
If somebody feels differently and they want to buy an opposing ad, they can do that.
Absolutely.
That's how it works with radio stations.
Denny's, I would unplug the phone, though, if I was you.
The phone just exploded.
Oh, my gosh.
You don't have to unplug it. It's broken.
Got Denise here. She sent an email. She said, did anybody else find it interesting that Britney Spears' son is back in her life now more, that the child support has come to an end?
No, not at all. I've said all along that there was parental alienation on the part of the baby daddy. What's his name again?
Kevin Federline.
Kevin Federline. I think Kevin Federline took those boys to Hawaii, was cashing checks for many years, and wrote a narrative in those boys' heads that their mama was bad. And yes, she may be crazy. Yeah, she may be nutty. But you know what? Put her through that, and maybe that's what caused her to go crazy. Tell her you're going to take her babies from her, and then see what kind of reaction you get out of a mother. Mm-hmm. I mean, she did shave her head back in the day, and that's what started all of it. I think it was because he said he was going to get her hair drug tested and take her babies from her.
I think it really had something to do with Popo's out. Popo's out. Popo's out.
I just don't appreciate the fact that you can gaslight a mom and you can make her think all these terrible things, and then when she goes crazy, take her kids from her, and it's all her fault.
Yeah, I'm happy for her, and for whatever reason why they're around. Hopefully it's not just greed. Hopefully it's because this is my mom. I love her, and I'm hoping that. I think it can only be good for Britney to put her in a better state. That probably was just so
Torture.
taxing on her mental health to not have that connection with her kids.
He took them to Hawaii, and she wasn't even allowed to see them, and he turned them against her, in my opinion. And that has got to be heartbreaking. And show me a mom that wouldn't go a little crazy had she gone through all of that.
Yeah. So I don't think we necessarily know what the motivation is for her son. Is he there because he's just trying to get more money out of his mom, or is he there because he's just loving his mom and that's his mom and he wants to spend time with her?
Hopefully he's old enough to make his own decisions and now is able to look at both sides and say, I love my dad, but I also love my mom, and I don't want to be alienated from one of my parents.
There you go. All right, got Kristen here, who is writing in about how to deal with some crazy drivers. You said, I stop over at my parents' house to check on them. My dad has Alzheimer's, and I take their dog for a walk around the neighborhood, and they live in Green Acres. Speed limit on their street is 30 miles per hour, and there's no sidewalk and only 2 speed bumps at the beginning of the neighborhood. And every time I'm in the neighborhood, I see this mom or her daughter drive past us, and they are just zipping. And I've motioned for them before to slow down. I just get this blank stare, and I may or may not have called her daughter a bitch one time. Well, yesterday when I motioned for her to slow down, she slams on her brakes and backs up real fast. Well, we got into it. Her excuse for driving so fast is that her elementary-age son has to use the bathroom and that it's her neighborhood and she can do what she wants.
Oh, shit.
Then she proceeds to curse me out in front of her son that supposedly had to pee so badly. You know she's mother of the year. And then to make things worse, my dad with his Alzheimer's comes out, and then he starts cussing her out.
Oh, boy. This is a mess.
She said, I really don't want to get the cops involved, and I want to keep the peace because it's my parents' neighborhood. What would you guys do?
I wouldn't get the cops involved. Well, I definitely don't get the cops involved, but I definitely...
If there was a way to get a speed trap, that'd be great. That'd be
There
the
you
only
go.
way I would want the cops involved.
Exactly.
I don't want to send the cops down to their house and start World War III. But
there is ways to say, hey, we have a situation on our street where we have a lot of kids, and I've noticed the last week or two there have been so
Speeding.
many cars. Just set that trap.
Totally.
Because when you go to the house and then you start getting, you don't want that heat.
No, you don't want
heat with
that.
your neighbors, man.
you have to be smart, and maybe you can keep complaining to your municipality, to whoever the police are in your area, and say, please, will you please come do some kind of speed trap, or please come do some kind of enforcement, because it's dangerous. The squeaky wheel does get the oil sometimes in a case like this, and you can put it on the fact that you've got an Alzheimer's patient and children and people that wander this street, and you know, if she's going 40 in a 20, that is dangerous.
Yeah, and technically that's what law enforcement
Yeah.
should be for here in our society, is that you
Yes.
don't have to deal with these crazies yourself. That's not your
No.
responsibility. I think you could probably call the non-emergency line and let them know. Just to put on your radar, if you ever have patrols, just know that here's what they drive, and here's maybe if you know a time when they typically are zipping around, then you could say, hey, about maybe 4 in the afternoon, you'll see them going double the speed limit, and it's dangerous because there are kids in the neighborhood and whatnot. That if you're in the neighborhood, just kind of keep an eye out for it.
And you can track what they're doing, too. If they're speeding down your street every day at a certain time, you can make a log of that and give that to whoever the law enforcement is and say, look, it's every day. 3 o'clock, she comes flying down the road and she's going to hit somebody. I just want to make the street safe for the children that play on it. Please, can somebody be here at 3 o'clock when we know she's going to come speeding down the street? Look, here's my log of every time I watched her do it, and maybe they'll come and enforce the speed limit on the street.
I was wrong. Call the cops.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would.
But don't have them go to her house.
I would try to do it anonymously if you could.
Yes.
I could see this being available right now if somebody took their time and invested. The question is, would you want it? Imagine if our roadways were all monitored and it was affordable technology where they would be able to recognize cars that are driving excessively fast and dangerous, and with facial recognition and how they can read plates, you can definitively identify the driver of the vehicle with a timestamp and everything, and then they would get a ticket sent to them. Would you ever want to be in a society where that happens?
I think in neighborhoods, that's a good thing.
Well, you could have it on every single roadway in America.
I don't know if I want it like on the interstate, but I think
I want it, but here's how I want it. I want excessive. I don't want people that are, especially on the highway where you're going maybe 10 miles over.
Right.
It's nothing too crazy, but there's a difference between somebody who is doing almost 80 and a 75 or a 70 and somebody who's doing 95 or 100 and zipping in and out of traffic. That to me is the excessive person that if we had that technology, yeah, that'd be the one where you set it where if you ping over 85, baby, we're going to catch you and you're going to get a ticket for it. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Would that cut down on traffic fatalities? Because it is really insane. When you think about how many people die in car accidents
You're right.
yearly,
Oh, gosh.
it is nuts.
You're right.
So, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing. And honestly, I don't think it would be anything that would be too crazy to see in society.
Excessive, though. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, there's no need to go, so fast on certain places.
Yeah, it's the person that, if you're driving and you're like, oh, what an asshole. If you have that thought, then that person would be getting a ticket. That's how it would go. Got an email here where somebody's asking us alternative jobs. They said, I heard Kevin doing his sweet movie reviewer voice, and you talked about talking that cheesy would make you want to punch yourself in the face every day. But what if you were making some decent money doing it? Would you do it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's enough radio dickheads that sound just like that, I think, that already do the gig.
Oh, I'm sure. And honestly, that's one of the tough things now that I would imagine. I would hate to start off now as a voice actor, or especially doing things where you have that, because with AI and how they can mimic voices.
You're right.
Look, you've got James Earl Jones or whatever, and if his family licensed out his voice forever, James Earl Jones, for instance, could be the movie voice guy for eternity.
That's true.
And they had him record so much shit for Darth Vader, so when
Right.
they have it forever.
Every word has already been recorded.
Every word.
And it's a beautiful thing, honestly, when you think about it. Like a James Earl Jones having such a unique voice, and I think he might have done this actually, or I think he did license out his voice, knowing that, hey, this is a stream of revenue for my family for a very long time, possibly.
That's awesome.
And what a great thing. I would completely sign that over. Say, I'm not going to be here forever, but the checks keep coming to my family.
It's a legacy.
Yeah, it really is. So, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if I could get it. Yeah, it's one of the best things. I remember, I used to be, before I got here, I was in control of doing the production stuff that you hear on a radio station. And so after I would be done with the morning show, it was producing all this stuff. And we had a voice guy that we would send him scripts and he would read it. And where we were technologically at the time, I had to sit there and record it. So I got to talk to him. He's the voice of ESPN. Actually, yeah, John Pleasy is his name, and I hear him. I think it's maybe Around the Horn that he voices. I still hear him doing it. But I was talking to him. The guy never got out of his pajamas. He would get up, and at the time, you would fax him whatever the sheets were, and you would get on the line with him, and he got paid, I think it was like $25 or $50 a page to read at the time, and he was making well over six figures, which, back in the mid-90s, pretty good little chunk of change.
Yeah.
He was doing very well for himself, and that's all he did. And he would work about 2 hours a day.
Wow.
I was like, what a gig.
Is he still doing it?
Yeah, I still hear his voice every now and then. I'll hear it. I think it might be the show Around the Horn at least. And every now and then I'll hear on ESPN. I'm like, John Pleasy's still doing it. So good for him.
I think doing cartoon voicing would be fun. That'd be a fun
Yeah, I think
gig.
that is kind of interesting. I know Hank Azaria, a lot of the Simpsons voice actors have made a career out of that. Nancy Cartwright, because she had gone to my university, and so they would talk about her a good bit and how much money she has made. She did the voice of Bart Simpson, and her whole career, that's been her whole life, is just voicing that character.
It's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
It took me I didn't know she did that until somewhat recently. I go, oh my gosh, I saw her do the voice, when they have them do it and it's not the cartoon, it's all weird.
It's so weird.
It's
You're like,
very
oh my
weird.
God, Nancy,
I didn't know
what?
she did
Seeing them record it, yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, and here you are, because you never know. And a lot of times it'll throw you. It could be a woman doing a man's voice, vice versa, and yeah, you just never know. So yeah, absolutely. To me, I think it's one of the best gigs you could possibly get out there. All right, well, thank you for tuning in here on this Wednesday. Appreciate all your emails. Mail at kvjshow.com. Enjoy it. We'll see you back here tomorrow.